please subscribe to the Berkshire Heroes channel. Have you clicked that button yet? Pressed it? Thank you so much. Now on with the show.
I'm Laura Blumenthal on the Berkshire Heroes podcast, and joining me today is Zoe Desousa from the Wellness Hub. Welcome, Zoe.
Thank you.
Now, tell me, what does the Wellness Hub do? Who does it aim to help? And what gave you the motivation to set it up?
So the Wellness Hub is a collaborative network of trusted, talented professionals dedicated to bringing health and wellness into everyday spaces through our on-site services with my Revive and Restore collection. And our mission's really quite simple, actually. It's to make well-being accessible through education and practical solutions. And my little strapline is empowering you to create lasting wellness and live more balanced lives in and out of the workplace. And we work with different types of organisations and workplaces supporting a holistic yet educational functional view of well-being. And we try as where we can to offer practical solutions with everyday hints and tips that people can walk away with, not kind of throwing stuff at you and just shouting at you and talking at you. It's really to give you some tools that you can use in everyday life, really. And we're our approach is really supported by 6 core pillars. And that's how we kind of define the areas that we work in. So our partners range from anything from nutrition to mindset, mental health. We've got a trauma specialist, movement. And then we've got a number of complementary therapies such as hypnotherapy, acupuncture and kinesiology. And so it's really giving people a choice to choose what they want to support their health and well-being. It's not one size fits all. And while we're kind of in the Berkshire area, that's where many of us are and our events are, but we're not limited here geographically. The plan is to expand on. So that's kind of like who we are and who we kind of work with. I guess you want to know about my story of why it all came about as well.
Yeah, what was your personal journey? Because it's quite a thing to set up something like the hub.
Yeah, so I guess my journey wasn't an exact straight line. I don't think anybody's journey in life is really. So I spent many years as in a traditional corporate job in the travel industry as a global project manager, working in very, very high pressured environments. And alongside that, I've always had an interest in health and wellness. As a child, I used to swim, do dance and gymnastics. And then later in life, I was a triathlete for 7 years, which I really enjoyed. I do strength training. I'm really into my fitness and my mental well-being as well. And sadly, during my corporate career, I had 2 burnouts. And at the time, there weren't the choices that are available now, and I was kind of forced down a route of just taking antidepressants. And had I known back then there were lots of other things that are available to help and support us, I'd have probably chosen a different path. So that's kind of, fueled me into wanting to help people and educate people, really. And so, that's what kind of led me down that path. And I've worked in partnership with a global health and wellness company for over 20 years. And again, that contributed to the idea as well that, people just aren't informed. They don't have the education. They don't have the knowledge of the breadth of support that is actually out there for us all. And if we all took a little bit more responsibility for our health and wellness, I'm not going to change the world, but we can have an impact. Let the doctors and the medical profession get on with what they need to do, and simple everyday things that we can do to help and support ourselves to keep us away from the doctors can only be a good thing. And I also dabble myself I did anatomy and physiology. I trained in massage. I got involved with stress management. I got a diploma in that as well. But none of the things that I tried sat right with me. So creating the Wellness Hub, where I'm helping educating people, I'm bringing wellness partners together as a collective and building a community. And that's really, really important for me. So yeah, that's kind of how I got to where I am, really.
And how I'm sort of envisioning the Wellness Hub is it's sort of a collection of Power Rangers full of people with like different superpowers, knowledge in various areas. Because I interviewed Juliet Greenhouse, a nutritionist, on this podcast. So that's sort of one of your Power Rangers. And you've got a sort of range of others. You talked about a trauma specialist, an acupuncturist. And where do you seek to help people? Is it people's workplaces? Are they individuals that come to the hub and you sort of help signpost them to the right person?
Yeah, so predominantly our aim is to get into the workplace, because we want to work with people who value health and wellness, and they put a priority on it. And health and wellness in the workplace now is huge. It's more than just a tick box exercise, and they need to be seen to do the right thing. And through a lot of market research I did, it now seems that people want to bring things back face to face, where it's on site, building a relationship, not talking to somebody on Zoom in another country, and then the next time you have a conversation with someone, it's somebody else. So, to have this on site where we go to people. So yeah, our role really is to be working a lot more with corporates, but then that will lend on to then people working with my wellness partners on an individual basis as well. So they all run their own business independently. Most of them work on a one-to-one basis. So it's nice to be able to take a group of us into a workplace where we're offering, like I said before, different solutions and different therapies and practices for people, because someone might think, oh yeah, I want acupuncture, and then actually they might have a chat with Jodie, who's the trauma specialist, and realise actually there's something more deep rooted. So they've got that option of making informed decisions and choices.
I work for a bank, and I do think that there is a trend, like you say, of trying to get wellness health specialists to come into the office to just make it as easy as possible people who are stressed, just don't have the knowledge that you guys have that you can bring there. I mean, just having someone giving you a flu vaccination on site just makes things so much easier, so there's no excuses. And also there's a lot of people like myself, I just don't really understand much about acupuncture, how that could help me or a colleague, as well as a huge other sway of things. If you work in banking, that's just not your speciality at all, but you know that you need to sort out your diet, sort out your stress, sort out your aches and pains, so you can just be on your A game, which is so interesting when you talked about coming from corporate life, knowing what stresses are, knowing what that burnout is, and actually just trying to give people everything on the plate to sort their lives out in the area. But responsibility was that word, which really stuck out to me when you mentioned that, because I don't really feel like we're quite good at being responsible for our health. It's often just the last priority once you've looked after your job, your family, the house, everything else. And so is it just the Wellness Hub is trying to make it as easy as possible for people just to say, I'm just going to go to that room where I know they are, I'm going to have a chat, I'm going to see what they could do to help me.
And yeah, absolutely. And the other thing is that you made me think about is that these are informed decisions that people make, and they're considered decisions. So if you have never heard of acupuncture, for example, you're not going to be necessarily running out and booking, a £60 treatment. So if you had the option to pop down and just have a little conversation, see what the needles are. Actually, Sandra does something with tuning forks, which is using the energy and vibrations and so forth, and it acts in the same way as acupuncture, but you're not using a needle. So just having that information, someone might say, okay, I'd be, willing to give that a go and try that out. So yeah, it's really, like I said, these are considered purchases and considered treatments and practices. So, someone's not going to just bump into you on the first day. They need to build a relationship with you as well. So if you've got an opportunity to just have an informed decision and chat with somebody, and then you can go away and think about it and then go back to them if you've got any more questions.
And do you have a really proud movement or an achievement through the Wellness Hub that you just think, yes, I'm on the right track, I'm doing what I need to be doing, I'm making a difference to people's lives?
I think there's a couple of things. One that stands out is some of the market research that I've done with corporates, where they've said to me, look, it's a new trend now where we're going in a big circle, that we want to bring people back on site again because they want to make it easy. You said that before. If you knew once a month you could pop down and there's all these various treatments going on, like a clinic type of environment, you know, that saves people a lot of time. If you were going out somewhere, by the time you've got in your car, you know, gone there, had the treatment, come back, you're out of work for nearly 2 hours. People don't have the time to do that. So knowing that initiative, so it's you know, one of my other strap lines is wellness that works where you do, and that's what I've been you know, told that's exactly what people are now looking for. And actually the other one was our first event, which we did in a hotel, and just seeing the wellness partners up there in their full glory. They're talented individuals. We're not just a pop-up in an office for half an hour at a lunchtime. You don't get to experience the, you know, the knowledge and background that these guys have. So actually seeing them in their full glory, presenting and forming people, giving away and imparting knowledge, it just gave me goosebumps. It was really exciting to see it actually all come together, because we've worked together. We've been going now since April, but the partners I have in place now, we only started coming together really in August, so it's still very, very new. So it's brilliant just to see us all together.
Workplaces are certainly treating people's health and well-being far more seriously, if it's physical health, mental health, because it's just a no-brainer. You want well staff. But do you think the staff individually are treating their health seriously? Because I feel as if there's still a bit of a guilt, or it feels indulgent to take the morning off to go to the doctors. It just feels ridiculous to feel guilty, but I certainly do. And do you feel as if there's still a bit of a cultural hesitation to people opening up and coming to practitioners like yourself and sort of trying to explore how they can become more well as a person, more healthy?
I think, yeah, absolutely. I think there's a stigma against any kind of health, fitness, wellness. You think, oh, it's, you know, I shouldn't necessarily be doing that. But turn it on its head, you know, the better our health and our wellness, the more you know, proactive and productive we're going to be in and out of the workplace. So yeah, it's just a shift. But if you look at now, if you look at how many people do something like yoga, Pilates, more meditation type of exercises, there's so much more of that now. So there has been a shift. You know, back in the day, it used to be, you know, you're eating right and you're going running or you're going to the gym. There's a lot more people doing a more diverse range of activities now. And it is just a big movement. More and more people know that they need to be doing the right thing for their mental health, what they're taking internally in their nutrition and movement. It's really, really important, especially as we start getting older. And because organisations now are taking more of a holistic approach and more responsibility, it's allowing people to take it on board.
And do you communicate with workplaces about what they can be doing to sort of encourage their staff when you're on site to come and see you, like just making sure the sort of senior leadership team are feeding down to their teams? Remember, they're on site, you better go along, they've got them here, we don't want to waste their time, like it's for your benefit. I know that in my workplace, our director's always like the vaccine nurse is on site, go and get your vaccine now. And so we all just feel like it's a sort of cultural thing. Everyone's booked in for their vaccine and you just go along. But it kind of, you have to be reminded to go as if you're encouraged to go along, instead of just kind of leaving it hanging for people to maybe want to or not, considering there might be a bit of nervousness or it might feel a bit indulgent to some.
I think that's a really interesting topic, because we ran an event not so long ago, and the event and the theme of the event was on point for busy corporates, and we didn't get the expected attendance that we thought we were going to do. So we're working in partnership with an organisation where they have a number of corporates on site. So we're going to be getting into the psyche and really understanding, was it the wrong time of year? Was it clearly wasn't the wrong subject because we had external people coming in. So it's really understanding what the needs are and where a corporate places the importance and values health and wellness, because if it's a tick box exercise for them, they're not going to be promoting it and encouraging the staff to go. And there are organisations like that. And then on the other side of it, there's organisations who've got health and wellness initiatives running all of the time. So I think there is still a massive divide across organisations to where it actually fits, because they can say it does, and then the reality of somebody then going to an event or coming down to a clinic type of thing, that's the kind of proof in the pudding. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting couple of months doing some more real ingrained research with the corporates.
Yeah, it's just understanding what their culture of, when it comes to their relationship with well-being and their staff, and also communication as well. Because if I think back to the companies I've worked for, some would kind of just leave it hanging in the background. It's an option, do it if you want. Whereas others would just be really encouraging you. And it doesn't matter how junior you are, or if you've never done acupuncture or something else before, you would just be expected to go along just to explore. And that's it.
Yeah.
And you would be encouraged. Yeah. So it's a pretty interesting aspect for you to be exploring. And what are you focusing on right now? And how can people find the Wellness Hub online?
So strengthening our foundations, expanding on the wellness partners. There's still a few areas that I want to include in what we can offer. So then that allows people to make informed choices. So polishing and refining some systems, because we did quite a lot of work in the last 3 months. Took a lot of things on board. So it's refining, tweaking, building foundations, and then really driving through our marketing and doing this market research, because I think that's really going to help shape the future and help build the momentum. And you can find us online on our Instagram account. That's where we're a lot more active. So it's the Wellness Hub Life, and our website, which is just having some little tweaks being done to it. So that's the wellnesshub.life. We're also on LinkedIn as well, and Facebook, but the main ones you'll be able to see us as our Instagram platform.
And when you were working in the corporate world, do you think if you had come across people in the Wellness Hub at your workplace, that could have made you think more about your health and stopped you from getting burnout?
Definitely, because I remember way back when we used to go as far as having on-site massage, but going and having somebody who was trauma informed or mental health, none of that existed back then. And I think had there been an option just to go and have a chat with someone and talking about stress in the workplace, that would have been absolutely valuable, because that would have opened my eyes and given me some insight of then some practical tools that I could have used to potentially stop me getting to that point.
And do you think, obviously you've been through what you've been through, but other people in the workplace are more mindful of needing to seek out this advice before it becomes too late? Because I kind of felt like a few years ago it was kind of, you just deal with it on your own, and it's just the lowest priority, and you'll get to it when you get to it. Whereas it sounds as if now we're more of a culture, especially post-COVID, that people are more aware of mental health and looking after it and seeking those practical tools before you may even need them. Just knowing they're in the back of your mind or they're in a book somewhere. So if you ever feel anxious, stressed, a bit overwhelmed, you know what to do to take responsibility.
You know, and there's Angela, our mental health expert. She's got some great little exercises which take 3 minutes. So, you know, her little strap line is, you know, would you give up 3 minutes to bring some calm and balance back into your life? And who's going to say no? So it's great being able to hear these little snippets and then use them and remember them. We all need reminding as well. So when we've done our events recently, I have to give myself a bit of a check-up as well, because you go, oh, I haven't been doing that. And I got to that point of, you know, I'm getting a little bit too stressed now, and I just need to think of Angela at the end of the day and her little techniques to kind of calm you down. So that's interesting, because that's something that we're looking at putting together, a little downloadable booklet of some little practical tips from, you know, the nutrition to the trauma to the stress management, that people can either, you know, just flick through online or download them. So yeah.
Would you mind sharing what you do to make sure you don't get burnt out again? Is it just those sort of mental health tricks and tips to sort of ground yourself, or is it more sort of acupuncture or hypnotherapy, or what works for you?
So I have like what I call my bookends of the day. So I have what I call a miracle morning, and it's based on El Howard, and 6 different things that I do. So from journaling to a little bit of meditation, and it only takes me half an hour. And that starts me in the right frame of mind before you open up the phone or if you're looking on social media. And then I do the same thing at night, and they're kind of my non-negotiables. I do keep my fitness up, and I try and look at my health and in terms of what I'm eating nutritionally, and getting my sleep, drinking my water, getting my steps in. So I have a little tracker as well. So at the end of the day, my bookend, I go through my tracker and I tick off the things that are important to me, and I colour them in. And I guess it's working out what time you've got available, what's important to you, and just choosing a few key things. And when the heat is on and there's just too much to do, it's just, for me, it's just stepping back. And I do like to do a monthly kind of MOT, and I am mixing it up. So I had some kinesiology, I had some acupuncture the month before, so because I'm trying out all the services of the partners as well. So I think it's important to start the day the right way, and finding what it is that works for you. And it might be simply reading 5 pages of a book, but a motivational book, or something that is, a bit of self-improvement, not sitting there reading a newspaper and unnecessarily listening to the radio and things that are just feeding you with negativity. You need to switch it round the other way.
It's just getting into those good habits, isn't it?
And finding the ones that work for you, because I could sit here and say all the things that I do, and someone will say, well, that's too many things anyway for me to even do. And some things don't suit everybody. And so my meditation, so my whole morning takes half an hour. I do a 1-minute meditation. And if you do things consistently, it builds over time. And it works for me.
And you mentioned kinesiology, Zoe. What does that word mean?
I'm still learning how it works, because it's incredibly interesting. So it's finding solutions through muscle movement and using remedies. And they place the bark remedies on your body, and your body reacts with a tension of the muscle movement in different ways. It's fascinating. So I won't do it the justice it needs, so I'm still learning how to explain it a bit more eloquently.
Well, I'm sure I'll have the kinesiologist on at some point, so they could explain it, but it sounds intriguing.
Yeah.
And final question.
The length of time that they've studied for it and how they remember is absolutely incredible. So yeah, it'll be really fascinating listening to her.
Zoe, if you were Prime Minister, what law would you change about the UK and why?
I don't know whether it's not a law that exists. I would implement something new where everybody has access to a free wellness support scheme.
And is that like a consultant? So going to them and saying, I think my life's fine, but I could probably be a bit healthier in what I eat. I kind of want to fit in a bit more being active. I don't really have much time. Can you help me out? And then they can just give you a lot of advice as to what to do.
Yeah, like a health check MOT, but without going and having, your blood tests and things done like that. So how balanced do you feel in your life? And then the questions that you'll get asked are, how much sleep do you move? what you eat. So just those core things, having a look at those. And sleep's a massive one, because without healthy, decent sleep, that has a knock-on effect on everything else that we do, negatively or positively, depending on how much quality sleep that you get.
I mean, maybe workplaces can really be leading the way here, and places of education as well, because you kind of just need that human to sort of make you stop and think about it, because your health, your diet, your sleep is always stuff that you know is important and you know you should be thinking about it, but it's just so easy just to go to bed too late, or just to not do those things, and I count myself in that as well. So it's just having that human, because you can just Google this, but no one pretty much will, to have that human just to sort of sit you down, and they treat this subject seriously, and it's just sort of a discussion with you, really, to tailor it to your personal needs.
And that's the thing. I mean, there are all these AI tools and apps out there which they suit some people, and that's great, but you can't have that human interaction, and there's nothing better than that in my opinion. So
talking to a human is always better. Lists are good, but it's not the same as talking to a person, and nurses and doctors are too busy. Unfortunately, they do have other things that they have to deal with, so it is having professionals like yourself and all your, as I call them, the Power Rangers that make up the Wellness Hub.
They're not called
to
wellness
help
partners
sort everyone out.
We'll call
Absolutely,
them
Power Rangers partners. It's all good. But thank you so much, Zoe Desousa, for talking to me about the Wellness Hub. The best of luck to you with it, because it sounds like a fantastic endeavour.
Thank you.
And please remember to subscribe to the Berkshire Heroes channel.